Hey y'all, welcome back to the YouTube channel. I'm so stoked for today. We have Nathaniel, who is an amazing client. He joined. We're actually going to get into it, like the nitty-gritties of month by month, what his progress was. He joined in January. It's now April. So, Nathaniel, can you share with us where you're from, what you do, and then we'll go from there.
So I'm from Las Vegas, Nevada, and I started my own firm in July of 2024, a marketing firm, and I joined Emily's program in late December, early January, and it's been amazing since. It's been awesome.
Awesome. So you started in July, and now it's not even been a full year for you.
Correct. Yeah.
Oh, that's kind of crazy. What were you doing before this?
So I was doing staffing sales, which I was going into businesses and I was helping them with any staff mix holes they had in their business. So if they had a front desk position or some construction positions that they needed filled, they
Yeah.
would lean on my company's services to get those filled with employees. So it was like a staffing job, but it was also a sales job because I'm talking to the business owners and, we're advocating these services. Before that, I also did about 14 months doing a phone sales job where I was negotiating contracts with hospitals, which was very, very difficult. And that was my first job out of college. So I think the
Okay.
two jobs were sales jobs, and then I
Yeah.
started the firm.
How old are you?
I'm 28.
Okay, sick. What did you do in college?
I majored in business administration, and I actually dropped out of high school and I dropped out of no, I dropped out of high school and I got expelled in middle school and I got expelled in high school and I was also like a juvenile probation kid. Like I was just in tons of trouble. And then dropped out in 10th grade and then I went into college on a GED and I told myself, hey, let's rewrite the story and just graduate at the top level in college because it was my second chance. Going back into college, it was my second chance. So I got the GED and an athletic scholarship because I was a good runner, which is a crazy story. And then we end up graduating as the commencement speaker, student body president, top of the class. They had given me like this huge statue trophy. It was a fairy tale. It was like night and day. So
Wow. Okay,
yeah,
wow. So you had this whole comeback story, and so you've kind of done like a full 180 switch on how you were when you were growing up. That's crazy. I didn't know that. I want to get into.
yeah, and that was the first part. I was like, wow, if I could do this in college, like if
Yeah.
I could be a high school dropout, middle school, like I got a felony like in eighth grade, like it was horrible for just being a kid, juvenile stuff, and then to go from that to graduating as the valedictorian in college. It's like a fairy tale. And I was like, wow, this actually works, like manifesting and then the books you read, audios you listen to and stuff like that. So now as a young professional, I was like, I wonder if I could do the same thing with like becoming a multimillionaire. And it's for sure in happening. And so when in December we were at like a $700 a month and now we just passed 6,400 a month. So yeah, like we're headed in the right track.
That's crazy. Okay, so I want to map this out like month by month, but just so you guys understand, you said 700 a month, right?
Uh-huh. In December.
Okay, so um let's make this one, two, three, four, five, six, seven. Oh man, don't judge. Uh, okay. So you were like right here, 700 um times 12. What is that?
Yeah, and I remember
Like 80.
getting in my car because I remember getting that money for the entire month of December and getting in my car and like being real sad, and thinking like, wow, something has to change.
Okay, and then what were you in January?
End of January, think 2,600.
26. Okay, like right here. So 2,600.
And it's all reoccurring revenue. So it's, not one-time payouts.
Right. So 31, 200 a year. Okay. And then what were you in February?
In February was slow. I think we were at 33.
Okay. 39, 600. Okay. And then March.
March, we to I think for March 5,100.
Right.
And that's like at the end of March. Yeah. At the end of March, we're at 5,100.
Okay. 51.
It's crazy to see it on the graph. I've never graphed it out.
And then April.
Well, April's not done, but as of right now, to give you the precise numbers, it's 6426.
Okay. So we're not done with April yet, but you're still making great progress. So
Right.
crazy. Okay, 64,26. Say that's like right there. Incredible. Okay, so if we map this out, it looks like
Yeah, I guess you're right.
December to January was like, pew. Oh, December to January was a really big jump.
Hmm.
January to February kind of like evened out a little bit. February to March, another big jump. And then March to April, also, we're not done with April yet, but around there. Okay, incredible. And so then from December, you were making 700 a month, which is 8,400 a year. April is 64,26 a month, which is 77,112 a year. So what is that divided by? So that's like a nine, it's 9.18, but we'll just say 9x your business in one, two, three, about three and a
I'm
half
trying to do the
years.
I want to do the Grant Cardone and 10 exit.
Yeah, so we 9x'd it. You 9x'd it in around 4 months. It's about three and a half, but we'll just say four. I want to talk about what went on during this whole process for you. Let's start with like December to January. What went down?
Okay, yeah. And I'll remember this day forever. I remember receiving the money, the $700 for the whole month. And I thought to myself, I was like, wow, I'm 28 years old. I have a daughter and I have a girlfriend who's in law school. And I've just made $700 after being in business from July to December. And I'm like, wow, I've been in business for 5, 6 months and all I have to show for it is $700.
Okay,
Got in my got
wait.
in my car. Mhm.
So you hadn't made any money up until December, but you had been in business since July.
It fluctuated. So my MRR fluctuated between like $500 and like $1,200 from July to December. But in
Okay.
December, I was at 700.
So it was like you were pretty much stuck. Would that be right?
Yeah, for sure. Like
For
fluctuated between,
July,
yeah,
August, September, October, November. So for 6 months, you were just at the same revenue.
I would say May, June too. I would say May, June. Probably June, since
Okay.
June.
So like 7 months. Okay,
Yeah.
continue.
Yeah, no, 7 months of like learning the industry, learning the products out there, trying to like get into the swing of things. And then in December, like boom, $700. And I remember just being so sad. I think I cried a little bit. And I told myself, I'm like, something has to change.
Yeah.
And then I did two things that like really, well, three things actually. The first thing is I really invested into myself by investing into your guys' program. Like that taught me mentally, like no matter what it takes, we're gonna find the coaches, find the help, find the programs because we're not gonna lose. Like we're going to build this. There's no going backwards. It's only going forward, you know. I've already taken the leap of faith of quitting my job. So what was I gonna do? Just get another job?
Mm,
No. But the two other things were I decided to focus on a service that I can absolutely do without the help of anybody else,
mhm,
which was local service ads, Google guaranteed. And then the second thing was I wanted to hyper focus on one industry and just laser down that industry and not call any other just for, a month, and really learn that industry. Reason why is you learn the industry language and you learn how to talk to the clients because they all have similar stories and, stuff like that. And so I chose the pool industry, pool contractors is big money, and just started dialing and making phone calls. And after that first week of making 75 phone calls a day, I had one contractor, big contractor that was like, hey, we need more business. What can you do for us? Showed him, and then boom, on on my girlfriend's birthday, like she was in the room, and I told her, I'm like, yo, they just signed the invoice, and it was like for $950, and I'm like, this is more than I make from last month. That was just $700. Like this is like more than that, and it's going directly to me. And so she was like, wow. And I'm like, I bet if I could do it one more time, if I could do it one more time, then I could do it 100 times. In my mind, I'm like, the first time, maybe it's a fluke, but if I could do it one more time, I bet I could do it 100 more times. And so I did it another time, end
mhm.
of January. And then I was like,
Yeah.
wow.
Let's
Now,
do this.
yeah,
So that was incredible. So one, you invested into yourself,
for
right?
sure.
Two, you went hyper specific, and you also just you started dialing in on a product that you knew you could 100% do.
Independently.
Incredible. So I'd say like that's a great foundation for you to build. You also leading up to that, it wasn't like you just decided to get into business um at that moment. You also have had other experiences as well. So if someone's watching this right now and they're like just wanting to get started, you might not see this type of result, but once you find the niche that you want to get into, you find the right mentors, and you have a really solid strategy, this could be possible. So now let's get into like January, February, March. What happened? What changed?
You know what? January, February, March, I started calling less. And I think that's why I didn't get too many clients from January to February. Like I just got like one new one. Um, so I needed to go back to the basics and start calling more people. But then I'm starting to learn, but then I was getting referrals, and then I'm starting to attract people through my Instagram and through Facebook. So from January to February, I mean, we got one new client that month, or maybe one or two small ones. But from February to March, we're starting to call a little bit more. And now I'm getting referrals. I got a lot of referrals. So referrals are really important because I've probably gotten 5 or 6 new clients this year from probably like 5 clients just from referrals. And I know we hate that word in marketing because remember, if I'm talking to a pool contractor and they say, "Oh, we just rely on referrals," then they're not going to want my service. So I totally understand. But for my business, it's so easy for just some construction owner to call me and be like, "Hey, my buddy Ryan at Terrascapes, had, recommended your services," or "Hey, my buddy Corey at Edgewater said you're pretty good." And then you don't even have to sell them. They're pretty much sold. So yeah.
Incredible.
Now, yeah,
Okay. And then I want to talk a bit on what also happened. So then let's just finish it off by what happened March to April.
Yeah, March to April. Now we're really believing in this. Like this is like, wow, this is really working. And let's just hone down. I recently hired a an email marketing person where they specifically specify in working with agencies acquire clients through email acquisition. So now I have multiple streams, multiple ways of acquiring clients. I have this gentleman, my first like employee type thing. I hired his company, um, referrals, calling, and then now I'm learning to tailor my website and Instagram to attract more people. So like three, four ways of acquiring clients. And so that's kind of where we're at right now. From like March to April to May. I mean, and it's piling. I mean, we have our calendar's getting booked, and I think when you know when you really know what you're talking about and you know how valuable your offer is, I mean, the leads are limitless, you know. I think it just depends, you know.
When you're getting a lot of referrals, that's also an indicator that you have a really good product. So if you have referrals coming in, it's like once you reach capacity on referrals, then we have to start putting those testimonials out online. We have to start letting people know how good you are at what you do.
Yeah.
What was the most impactful thing for you in the program itself?
Absolutely. Tailoring my Instagram to make it look very professional and to make it look attractive whenever clients are deciding to bring me on or not. I would say my last three or four clients, they were definitely looking on my Instagram. And sometimes when I send them a VSL, which some of you will learn about in the future, called a video sales letter, I'll even like in the VSL go over to my Instagram and show them the space of my Instagram and be like, hey, feel free to check out our Instagram, look at our highlights, look at the reviews, look up our services, our past customers, and kind of like getting them to envision wanting to be on that profile. So that's really helped a lot. You're with guaranteeing clients, they've helped me tailor my Instagram really nicely. They've helped me understand the psychology behind it and like learning it. And also the Loom. I didn't know what Loom was. And then Emily started telling me about Loom, and that has been a game changer where you could like, if I need to send people a quick video or an instruction, I
Mhm.
could just use the Loom video real quick. And that's really helped out. So um, I encourage anybody who's if they're trying to grow their coaching business or independent business or whatever kind of business you have, talk to Emily, and if it's a good fit, you know, definitely learn from them because it's working, and and a lot of other people are becoming successful.
I didn't tell him to say that too, guys. When you, okay, so you said that the VSL, you said the Instagram, right? The Loom. What about the sales part? Because I believe I've seen you working with Jerold as well on this. Was there anything specific in that training that helped you?
Yeah, Jerold's really, really good. He's a very consistent sales trainer, meaning like some of the stuff he said 8 months ago, he's saying again, like now, like when we have our current meetings. And it's like very, sometimes it's very specific. Like sometimes it's like the wording, like I believe selling is like art and science. The art could be like your personality, how you make someone feel, but the science is like specifically how you're guiding the conversation. I think Gerald's really, really good at the science part of it. And some of the phrases he says, he'll say them in a specific order and he knows when to say them. And man, he's great at that. And I actually have a lot written down in my notebook that he's you know that I'm trying to learn more of. So when my prospect says it, I could say it automatically like Jerold.
Yeah.
So no, you guys have an excellent sales program to it. And the one skill that I developed that gave me the confidence to start my own business was sales. So if anybody's watching this and they're maybe they've never been in sales, I would start picking up books, you know, going on YouTube and start watching some content about it because the more you learn about it, the more you're gonna emulate it, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
Wouldn't you agree? Yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah, when I got into network marketing, I didn't make any sales, but then once I got into the course that taught sales and marketing, that's when I started making money.
Yeah,
You can have all of the eyeballs coming to your page, but you if you don't know how to correctly sell, it's going to be hard to convert them and see that return on ad spend.
for sure.
Yeah, so when you join the program, definitely want to have a notepad completely blank, ready to get filled with notes, because he is dropping hot sauce every single week.
Yeah.
So, Nathaniel, if we were to go back in December to that version of you who was making $700 a month, who was crying in his car, who didn't know what the future was going to look like, and you've now 9x your business in the matter of 4 months, and it's barely 2025 getting started. Like, what would you say to him when he was thinking of joining the program?
I would I would say bro, like just continue with your instinct with going on because my first instinct was just go ahead and do the program, because success was not an option. Success was the only way. So
Mhm.
yeah, I would just say, Nate, good job on thinking they're a good bet. Continue on, because immediately after watching your content and talking to Jerold, I already knew I was going to join the program, um, because there was, when you made that choice, you have to just make that choice.
Mm. That's unique. Like when you make that choice, you have to just follow through.
For sure, for sure. I would tell myself, good job for making it, and the best is yet to come, and it's going to be a great ride. And of course, there's going to be, hiccups, but like
Yeah.
hey, there's going to be hiccups if you don't chase your dreams. So you might as well take a chance at doing what you love.
I love it. And then I'm also curious, what is your goal for this year?
Our goal for this year before 2025 is up is to get to $40,000 in MRR. And
You can get it.
there's no doubt in
On
my
the
mind.
path that you're going, I mean, you're exponential from here. It's just like continuing to go up and up and up.
Yeah, I think so. I think we're gonna get to a point. I don't know. I don't want to put limits on myself, but eventually we're gonna have to hire people.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to go as long as I can without having to hire someone and just stack the bread, the money, the funds, you know.
What would you say right now is your biggest bottleneck getting there?
Focus. If I had to have one skill or one quality that I can hone down in, that's focus. And that's just like being in front of my computer. And it only takes me 2 to 3 hours to make 50 phone calls. But sometimes I'll be distracted all day and I'll be procrastinating, or I might hop on my phone or look on my TV, or I'm managing other accounts, but really I don't have to manage it that long. Like it's already managed.
Mm.
So it's focus. If I could right now, like talking to myself now in the future, like Nathaniel, let's just focus, keep doing what you know is working so you could sell more for more results.
Mm. Yeah, I just want to go back to this graph here one more time. So, 8,400 a year was what you were making prior, and then you went all in, right? You literally burned the boats and you just drew a line in the sand and you said, today is the day. Like there's no turning back. 4 months in, you've made a 9x jump, which is 77,000 a year, which by the way, I think that's like more than a lot and like a lot of people make in their first year of business going at something new. Like that's a pretty wild jump. Um,
That's only the first 4 months, Emily.
yeah, it's crazy, dude. Like I think for you, what I've seen is you're very coachable, you're very like positive to be around, and you're just a naturally like just charismatic person, which I think is really beneficial. But you also just like always show up, like you've always just been a great community member on our team to have.
Thank
And
you.
so, yeah, we just appreciate you being in the community and showing up. And I would say this is just a side effect of the impact that you've created.
Wow, those are kind words. I appreciate that. And I appreciate you guys for creating this community and having the guts to do it. But thank you for those kind words. That means a lot. Thank you.
Uh,
Oh, last thing, and this is
yeah.
important.
One
I,
last thing, we'll share this and then we'll hop off.
okay, cool. I started really getting on my knees and praying to God, in January and December. Like I would before I started ripping out all these phone calls, I
Wow.
would like make my bed and then put my pillow on the floor and get on my knees and I would just start praying to God. I'm like, God, I pray for massive blessings. I pray for my family. I pray for, you know, your presence in other people's lives. But God, I pray for wisdom and I pray for abundance. And, one time I did that, and then my first client, it was the very next call. Like as soon as I prayed, I got on my made one call, and that was Corey. And then he was my first client that signed up,
Wow.
and I can't tell you how many times that happens where the days I don't pray, the days where it's hard to be focused. But when you do,
Mm.
magical things happen.
Yes, glory to God, honestly, for all of this. I want to share too. I pray for like you, I pray for the clients all the time. And when once I started praying for financial provision over my clients, it was like I was just like, this is not real. Like, I don't know who's doing this. The only thing I can give credit to is that this is God because this is supernatural.
Thank you for praying for me. I
Hey,
appreciate that. Just
yeah,
quit working.
you
I'll
can
pray
pray
for you too.
for, yeah, we can pray for anyone watching right now as well. I pray for wisdom that they can discern who to invest into and that they would just have that clarity to know exactly what steps they need to take in business.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Same. Amen. Awesome, Nathaniel. Well, thank you so much for coming on. We love you guys so much, and I'll see you in the next one.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.